Hello, 7th graders, and welcome to 4.1. In Chapter 4, we'll be talking about proportional relationships, and more specifically in Section 1, we'll be discussing rates. Okay. Today's lesson objective is I can find and compare unit rates, such as average speed and unit price. Another very common example of unit rate that you might see would be like in a vehicle, when you're talking about how many miles per gallon does this vehicle get, okay? So let's start by defining a few things. A rate is a specific type of ratio. So it's a ratio that compares two quantities measured in different units. Okay. The example that I just gave, maybe something like 25 miles per gallon. Okay, so we're talking about the two quantities would be 25 and per 1 gallon, and the two different units would be miles and gallons. All right, and a unit rate, this example I just gave is actually a unit rate as well, because that's a rate whose denominator is 1 when it is written as a fraction. Okay, so this example would actually work as a rate and a unit rate. More specifically, it's a unit rate. A different rate would be maybe something like you had some friends over and you ate 9 pizzas in, let's say 30 minutes. Two different quantities and two different units. Okay. All right, let's move on here and check out our first example where we actually find a rate. Okay, this is right. It says a Ferris wheel revolves 35 times in 105 minutes. How many minutes does one revolution take? Okay, so first we're just going to write our rate that compares the two. Well, it tells us in minutes, it's 105 minutes, and it revolves 35 times. And the question is, how many minutes does one revolution take? So right now we know how many minutes it takes for 35. We want to know how many minutes does it take for one revolution. All right? Well, we'll take our minutes that we were originally given and our revolutions that were originally given. And to write a equivalent ratio, it's just like writing an equivalent fraction. So how do I go from 35 to 1? Well, you just divide by 35. Whatever you do on bottom, you do on top. So divide by 35, and that'll give you an equivalent fraction. Well, 35 divided by 35 would be 1, and then you just have to take 105 divided by 35. Well, if you estimate this to about 30 or 40, 30, 60, 90, or 40, 80, 120, it's going to be around 3. Let's just check. 35 times 3, 15, 9, and 10. So perfect. It takes 3 minutes for one revolution. So what do? Well, we divided the numerator and the denominator by 35 and then simplified. Okay, so the Ferris wheel takes 3 minutes for one revolution. And this would be an example, excuse me guys, of a unit rate because our denominator is now 1. Okay, 3 minutes per one revolution, that would be a unit rate. All right, go ahead and flip to the next page for letter B. And it says Sue walks 6 yards and passes 24 security lights set along the sidewalk. How many security lights does she pass in 1 yard? Okay. Well, similar to before, we're just going to write in the information that we need to know. In the end, it wants us to figure out per 1 yard. So 6 yards, put that in here, and 24 security lights. Right, so again, 24 lights, 6 yards. I want to be able to get my yards to 1. So how do I go from 6 to 1, writing an equivalent ratio? Well, just divide by 6. And whatever I do on the bottom, I need to do on top to keep that equivalent. All right, so again, dividing by 6. 6 divided by 6 will give you 1. And on top, 24 divided by 6 will give you 4. So Sue walks past 4 security lights per yard. All right, moving on to example 2 then. It says Danielle is cycling 68 miles as fundraising commitment. She wants to complete her ride in 4 hours. What should be her average speed in miles per hour? Okay, well, let's start on what we know. We know that she can go, she has to go a total of 68 miles, and she wants to complete it in 4 hours. Okay, again, we want to know miles per 1 hour. So I need to get my hours, I need to get that to 1. So I just need to take 4 and divide it by 4. And do the same to the top. So hours divided by 4, top numerator divided by 4 to keep it an equivalent ratio. And when I take 68 and I divide by 4, 4 goes in once, 4 times 1 is 4, subtract 2, bring down my 8, and 7, which is 28. And I'm finished. Okay, so 17 miles per hour. Again, we're dividing the numerator and the denominator by the denominator. The denominator was 4. I'm dividing them both by 4. So her average speed should be 17 miles per hour. Okay, that's pretty quick if you ask me. Last example for today. It says that a 12-ounce sports drink costs 99 cents and a 16-ounce drink costs $1.19. Which size is the better buy? All right, this is always a good example because you see this a lot in stores. Different amounts. So with this energy drink, or excuse me, sports drink, it's 12 ounces, and this sports drink it's 16. So you're getting more here, but it also costs more money than this one. So we're trying to determine which one's a better buy. So what we need to do is we need to divide the price by the number of ounces. OZ is the abbreviation for ounces, to find the unit price. Okay. So my first one is 99 cents, so 0.99 divided by, I get 12 ounces. Okay, and my second one is $1.19, and I have 16 ounces. Okay, what is going to be my unit price for this? Well, remember that the first number goes inside, so 0.99 divided by 12. Bring your decimal straight up. 12 goes into 99 about how many times, right? Okay. Well, let's think about this. 12 times 10 would be 120, so that's too much. So let's try like 8 or 9. Let's just take a guess here. 12 times 8 would be 16, 1, 8, 9, 96 cents. So remember when you write 8, if you were to, Okay, sorry I got cut off there, but let me just quickly fill in here what we had. And we said price, and we said ounces, and we had the first one was 99 cents for 12 ounces, and the second one was 119 for 16 ounces. Okay? So we just have to take our price and divide it by our ounces. So we came up with 8 cents per ounce. Okay, and we stopped after the first two because remember, money is only to the second decimal place here. You don't need to know any further information. And I'm fine if you double check these with your calculators, guys. In the real world, you're probably going to have a phone with you when you're out shopping to be able to figure out a unit price. So on the second one, we have 1.19 divided by 16, and you're going to come up with 0.07 ounces. Okay, so this says, since blank is less than blank, the blank ounce sports drink is the better buy. Well, since 7 cents is less than 8 cents, which one was this? 16 ounce energy drink is the better buy. And a lot of times in real life, guys, you will see this because when you buy in bulk or when you buy in more, that's usually going to be the better deal. Okay, if you've ever gone to like Sam's Club or some of those bigger stores that sell in bulk, you can usually get a little bit cheaper. Okay, so to finish it off here, please end with the 3 check it out problems. Go ahead and pause the video now so that you try them on your own, and then go ahead and come back to see if you got them right. All right, for the first one, we have a car gets 189 miles with 9 gallons. How many miles does it get with 1 gallon? So again, we want to get this to 1 gallon, and we do that by dividing by 9 on top and bottom. So if you take 189 and divide it by 9, you would come up with 21 miles in or using 1 gallon of gas, which is decent. I guess there's a lot better vehicles that get a lot higher than miles per gallon than that these days. Number 2, Danielle's walking 18 miles for a charity. She wants to complete her walk in 3 hours. What should her average speed in miles per hour be? Okay, 18 miles, 3 hours. We want to know miles per 1 hour. Okay, we divide it by 3 on bottom, so divide by 3 on top, and 18 divided by 3 will give you 6 miles per hour. You could also write it like this, and then be the same. Okay. And lastly, number 3, it says a 28-ounce box of cereal costs $2.99 and a 32-ounce costs $3.19. What's the better buy? Okay, remember, take your cost, so $2.99, and divide it by your amount, so 28 ounces. If you take $2.99, and again, I'm okay if you plug this into your calculator, and you divide it by 28, you would come up with 0.10 or 11 cents. You can round a little bit. And in the next one, 32 ounce costs $3.19. So if you take $3.19 and you divide it by 32, you'd come up with, and if we rounded, 0.9, but it's 0.99, so we'll round to 0.10, 10 cents per ounce. So again, cheaper is the one that's less expensive. So the 32-ounce cereal box is less expensive. And again, it follows that rule of usually when you buy more, it's a little bit cheaper. Okay, that does it for rates and lesson 4.1. If you have more questions, please come ask me. I'll be glad to help, and I will see you next time.